I'm Barry Sandoval with some highlights of our August comic auction. Let's start with the Golden Age All-Star Comics number 3. This is one of my favorites, the first appearance of the Justice Society of America. All-Star number 8, just a couple issues later, but famous for a much different reason. She's not even on the cover, but this is Wonder Woman's first appearance, and that's a pretty big book right now for obvious reasons. Here's Science Comics number 2, the Mile High copy 9.2 with the classic blue fine cover featuring Dynamo. Detective Comics number 35 is one of the classic early Batman covers. 4.5 might not seem like that high of a grade, but there were only 7 unrestored copies graded higher. This is a tough book to find in unrestored condition. Adventure Comics number 73, the Rockford Pedigree copy 9.2. This is one of the first things Joe Simon and Jack Kirby did when they moved to DC Comics. Manhunter stars on the classic cover, and this copy's tied for the highest grade. We're very proud to be offering the Magic Woo collection of Silver and Bronze Age Marvel comics. What really stands out about Magic Woo's collection is the brilliant cover colors and also the excellent centering of the vast majority of the copies. Now, the ones we're showing you here are all Spider-Man, but there's a wide variety of titles represented in the collection. Now, do you recognize these comics here? I can't blame you if you don't. These are Centaurs, which are basically everything the publisher did was quite rare. They were only around in the late 30s and the very start of the 40s. So it's amazing that we have an entire section devoted to them, and note the strong grades here. VF to near mint copies here, you'll seldom find those in that type of condition. With comic art, let's go chronologically, and we'll start off with this 1903 Buster Brown strip, which has been in the hands of the family of the artist R.F. Outcault since 1903. Fast forward 30 years or so, Hal Foster, A Tarzan Sunday from 1932. This is a wonderful episode. It's a bit of a lighthearted note. Tarzan is interacting with his tribe of apes. And you'll notice at the upper right, Tarzan always wore the over-the-shoulder loincloth. You see he's ripping it off here. He transitioned to the loincloth that's just around his waist because they wanted to match it up with what Johnny Weissmuller was doing in the movies. On to the 1960s, Jack Kirby, X-Men number 2, story page 7. This is the first appearance of the Danger Room. Every X-Men fan knows that, and it's kind of quaint how it was described here in its first outing. It's a huge unfurnished chamber which houses countless hidden perils. Steve Ditko, Strange Tales number 141. This is a Doctor Strange page. We've been holding these comic art auctions since 2001. This is the very first piece of Ditko Doctor Strange artwork that we've seen come on the market in this entire time. It's a doozy too. It features not only the Good Doctor but also the Ancient One in 3 panels, and Dormammu pops up all over it as well. Our big underground highlight in this sale is the collection of Graham Nash, and this is Robert Crumb's unused cover for Zap Comics number 1. This was the first cover Crumb drew for the first issue, but he decided it was too extreme, as you can imagine, and redid it. If you know the published cover for Zap number 0, you know that's a similar scene, but there's fewer body parts hanging out, and the plug ends up going into the character's midsection in the final cover instead of where it's plugged in right here. Now here's John Buscema from the early 1970s. It's Thor number 197, complete 21-page story. It's Thor and the Warriors 3, basically out to save the world, or at least out to save Asgard. And now, well, let's go from saving the world to destroying a whole solar system. Now that's what Dark Phoenix did on this famous or notorious page from X-Men number 135. She wiped out all these poor aliens, and that's why she was put on trial soon after in the classic number 137. Got a few great Watchmen pages in this auction. Spoiler alert coming up, but let's face it, this came out in 1987, so you've had 30 years to read the story. From number 11, where Ozymandias explains the depths of his fiendish plan to Night Owl and Rorschach in a very dramatic page. And then in the next issue, we see the devastation wrought by that very plan. You might recall that issue number 12, which was the last issue, started with 6 powerful splash pages. And here's one from 1993, but with an artist from the olden days, Dick Sprang. It's the Batcave Revealed. You might know a similar painting that was made into a print a couple of years later. This is an ink and watercolor masterpiece, and you'll want to take time to feast your eyes on all of the details here. Those are some of my favorites, but if these don't do it for you, or if you want to see more, you'll see literally 1,100 more lots at ha.com.